Hi everyone, today I will discuss some practical implications of adapting music teaching to address social, emotional, and mental health challenges in music education. SEMH refers to children and adolescents exhibiting characteristics of emotional and behavioral difficulties, including withdrawal or isolation, disruption, hyperactivity, lack of concentration, and challenging behavior stemming from other complex special needs. Psychodynamic theory, based on Freud's ideology, argues that the behavioral and emotional challenges faced by the SEMH pupils frequently arise from unacknowledged internal extensions, formative events, or unresolved emotional trauma. During intervention, psychological counseling and therapy help students examine the emotional origins of their challenges and modify their behavioral patterns. At the same time, emotion regulation training helps them recognize and articulate their feelings, thereby reducing impulsive behavior. Behaviorism rejects Freud's theory, asserts that human behavior is acquired and quantifiable. Hence, inappropriate student behavior can be altered by a system of rewards and penalties. Cognitive theory argues that internal cognitive mechanisms influence human behavior. This process encompasses reasoning, comprehension, judgment, and interpretation. Individuals do not respond directly to external occurrences, but rather to their perceptions of such events. This has considerable ramifications for comprehending student behavior, especially that of students with SEMH. A student who abruptly gets emotionally distressed or declines to cooperate in class may perceive their actions as perfectly justifiable, possibly due to a misinterpretation of the teacher's tone, a sense of being singled out, or the insecurity in a specific context. To conduct the practical case study in the school, I have synthesized effective solutions from extensive literature aimed at addressing the needs of students with SEMH challenges, and implemented these tactics in actual music classrooms. It is essential to note that the 5 main literatures I have constantly drawn upon emphasize that a positive teacher-student relationship is a crucial factor in facilitating success for SEMH children, which has also become a central focus of my pedagogical approach. Research indicates that positive teacher-student connections significantly enhance students' intellectual, social, and emotional expressive skills. To foster positive teacher-student relationships, it is essential to deepen teachers' comprehension of SEMH, recognize students as individuals, and implement a student-centered approach, lessons, etc. In my current teaching practice, I discovered a Year 8 student, S, who has been officially identified as having SEMH difficulties. S constantly displays several inappropriate behaviors in the class, including disregarding the directions, engaging in excessive chatting, and rejecting involvement in group activities. Through classroom observations and informal discussions, I quickly noticed that numerous behaviors from S were rooted in her skepticism towards teachers. Recognizing this, I organized a private conversation to foster trust through attentive listening and comprehension. I first employed a soft and open tone during the chat to enable her to express her feelings and experiences. She indicated that she frequently experienced neglect in primary school, resulting in a detrimental link between expression equals punishment. With this comprehension, I proceeded to provide her with increased positive attention and feedback during lesson. To ensure S felt acknowledged, I engaged in proactive communication and validated her expressions. Invited her to contribute to classroom decisions, such as selecting the music songs for the upcoming lessons, and reinforced her positive behavior with affirmations like, I observed you complete your task quietly today, that's awesome. I also acknowledged that individualist lesson planning is an essential method for us. I consulted with her piano teacher to develop a personalized progressive learning strategy. We cultivated a positive rapport with her parents, secured their trust, and structured a curriculum based on the ideas of interest-driven and gradual transition. During a keyboard lesson, I arranged a simpler rendition of a favorite tune she enjoyed. Her objective was not to complete the entire composition, but to perform the initial 4 bars with the correct fingerings. This was both attainable and demanding, facilitating her progressive advancements without undermining her confidence. Although the entire class studied the same materials, I established separate success criteria for S. I established assessment levels for S as emerging, developing, confident, and exceptional. This approach aligns better with her developmental stage and is more motivating than standard grading. Following each course, I have a one-to-one feedback session with her to explicitly convey her progress and forthcoming objectives. For instance, I said to her, in the future, trying to engage in rhythmic sections during a group performance, even if it is merely with a percussion instrument. During this procedure, I constantly employed a warm and supportive tone to bolster her good emotions. To enhance her support, I maintain regular communications with the SEND team, teaching assistants, and other subject teachers to update our comprehension of her behavior and emotional condition constantly. I have also spoken with her mother, who expressed concerns regarding slow progress. I addressed her issues with composure and expertise, articulated the pedagogical tactics employed and the tangible development as has achieved thus far, underscoring that each incremental advancement merits recognition. Following the establishment and maintenance of positive teacher-student connections, educators must also contemplate the provision of comprehensive and effective support for SEMH students within the classroom context. Particularly music classes prioritize cooperation and sensory engagement. In the literature, Darrow and Edmack propose some strategies to foster inclusive music lesson. I used some of them in my own music lessons and found some of them can really help SEMH pupils make both social and academic progress. This case pertains to a student identified as C, who has ADHD, classified within the SEMH category. C demonstrates significant signs of attention deficiency, recurrent disruptions, impulsive conduct, and challenges in patience throughout music lessons. In music lessons, I implemented the following modifications. First, incorporation of technology and multimodal approaches. I employ a systematic instructional approach to establish a sense of anticipation in students. Before class, I administer music listening exercise and retrieval tasks, and during lesson, I integrate multisensory materials, including video demonstrations and physical activities. To enhance this concentration, in the vocal warm-up, I guide participants through physical warm-ups first to stimulate their sensory awareness, concurrently assisting students such as C who are prone to distraction in regaining their concentration. Second, task visualization and stratified assistance. I incorporate a learning journey section after each slide to facilitate C's swift re-engagement. Should she lose concentration, I often employ code calls to verify her comprehension of the work. For instance, I ask her, after selecting the primary drama, what are the two main sections you're going to practice? If I observe that she is utilizing going to the toilet as a pretext to evade the assignment, I will state, inform me if you still wish to proceed in 5 minutes. I subsequently engaged with her group to deliver prompt positive reinforcement and assign responsibilities, including having her oversee the call and response segment. Under my supervision, she progressively starts to make progress and ultimately engaged in the group performance. Third, modifying task, complexity, and collaborative approaches. I employ a stratified instructional methodology. In the pop music section, I partnered C with a classmate possessing a robust piano foundation to rehearse Kanye West's Runaway song. The assignment was segmented between a straightforward high-pitched melody and an Alberti bass. Upon completing her portion methodologically, C incorporated it into the ensemble. In her post-class feedback, she stated for the first time, I can play a piece of music now, marking a modest yet authentic progress. I adapt tasks according to emotional conditions. For instance, in a radio show lesson, if C is in a negative disposition, I do not compel her to engage in listening and speaking activities. I permit her to utilize a computer for composition, establishing specific attainable objectives, such as please can you complete the 4-bar melody compositions, with the teacher already compose the harmony chords for her, employing manageable activities to mitigate disordered emotions. Fourth, collective assistance and dispute resolution. Certainly, not all tactics produce the same outcomes. On one occasion, I partnered C with a student. This student later approached me in tears, expressing I no longer wish to collaborate with her. In response, I actively listen to and validate the student's emotions, subsequently organize the task by delineating clear rules and expectations, often had the choice to modify the group or appoint a peer facilitator, instructed on fundamental emotional expression and negotiation techniques, and persistently monitored and adaptively modified the collaborative approaches to maintain a stable classroom environment. Fifth, sustain adaptable tempo and emotional awareness. I meticulously include questions, group discussions, and practical exercises to regulate classroom tempo. Upon observing C's restlessness, I may remark, C, please endure for an additional 5 minutes, after which we shall proceed to the practice room. Despite the actual duration surpassing the estimate time, she unconsciously sustained her focus due to the seamless progression of the session. This presentation analyzed 2 examples of students with social, emotional, and mental health needs and identified effective tactics for practical music instruction, including multimodal sensory stimuli, task visualization, emotional support, and adaptable structured routines. By synthesizing psychodynamic, behaviorism, and cognitive theories, teachers acquired a more profound understanding of teacher behavior as emotional reactions rather than intentional disturbances. These adaptable, learner-focused methodologies facilitated engagement, self-expression, and social connectivity. Although incremental progress was noted, including heightened engagement and confidence, the methodology necessitates time and cooperation. Future studies can look into scalable support systems for SEMH and the role of music teachers in promoting long-term resilience in the classrooms. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you for watching.